Hello and welcome to the Marysville Gymnasium for the MHSAA Class B District Finals. Tonight facing off we have the Marysville Vikings versus the St. Clair Saints, battling for the district title. The Marysville Vikings have a record of 29-13-3. The St. Clair Saints with a record of 10-8-0. I'm Nicole Will, and joining me tonight is Mr. Smith. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Nicole. This is going to be a fun night.
Yes, it is. The winner of tonight's game advances to the semifinals, the regional semifinals at North Branch against the winner of Notre Dame Prep versus North Branch. Mr. Smith, will you tell us the starting lineup for the Saints tonight?
Well, I've got the entire lineup, so we're going to talk about the Saints for just a second. Number 1, Jessica Bohm. Number 2 is Carrie Lozen. Number 3, Mia Jensen. Number 4, Brenna Johnson. Number 5, Mackenzie Buslip. Number 6, Juliana Cataldo. Number 7, Ariane Lenarski. Number 8, Alyssa Cataldo. Number 12, Olivia Janovich. Number 13, Sam Fraley. Number 17, Elena Cousino. Number 18, Anna Allington. Number 34, Tristan Anglin. And number 37, Allie Focher. The Saints are coached by Michelle Ackett, and she is assisted by Amanda Bondi and Tina Piper is that.
And tonight I have the Vikings lineup, starting with number 1, Anna Fair. Number 2, Tyler Bezab. Number 3, Heather Bounds. Number 4, Paige Fraley. Number 5, Sam Miller. Number 6, Olivia May. Number 7, Christy Melton. Number 8, Mercedes Thomas. Number 9, Abby Sodden. Number 10, Hannah Delore. Number 11, Alyssa Miller. Number 12, Haley Delore. Number 13, Riley Francic. Number 14, Natalie Husson. Number 15, Moira Burns, with head coach Amanda Bush and Randy Kaufman.
All right, Nicole, we ready to get started?
I think we are.
We'll be right back with the first serve, so be sure to join us right after this quick promo from one of our M6 sponsors.
The programs and community announcements presented on this station are brought to you in part by a grant from the following M6 Communication Arts Learning Partners.
Lifetime Hearing Services is located on the corner of Gratiot and Delaware in Marysville. Come by and meet Pam Byer and her professional staff. They have the expertise to help you. So call for an appointment today, 364-1170. Whether you need testing or assistive devices, Pam Byer at Lifetime Hearing Services is ready to help. Remember, silence isn't golden to those with hearing loss.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us. All of us. You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our determination, our compassion. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Welcome back to the Marysville Gymnasium for the MHSAA Class B District Finals game with the Marysville Vikings and the St. Clair Saints. How do you think the Vikings are going to play tonight, Mr. Smith?
You know, I think this is a good test for them. The other night we watched them. They were a little tentative in that first game because when you get into elimination mode, you know, every mistake seems to be multiplied. But hopefully they got through that. Maybe the first couple of points, and then they'll settle right in.
I think you're definitely right on that. I think the Vikings are going to come out strong tonight, but also we need to focus on the Saints, too. I think they're going to come out equally as strong, and I think this is going to be a tough match for the Vikings.
I would agree with you. You can't be looking forward. You got to play it 1 point at a time, and I'm sure both the Viking coaches and the Saint coaches have stressed that with their kids.
I think so, too.
Elena Cousino is getting ready to do the serving for the Saints.
Sam Miller with the serve receive. Nice block by the Vikings and in bounds. Viking point.
Wednesday night in the semifinals, I think that was really a key for the Vikings. Their front line did some great blocks, and even if they didn't get a total block, they slowed it down enough for the back line to be able to bump it back up.
Number 9, Abby Sodden, comes in for number 11, Alyssa Miller.
1-0 Vikings. That's a good start.
Big block by the middle, Paige Fraley. Nice up by libero, number 2, Tyler Beazhead.
That was a lift that time on number 4. That was Johnson of the Saints. 2-0 Vikings.
Abby Sodden with the serve.
We saw Abby get on a nice roll the other night, a couple of times serving.
I think this team, our Vikings, are very good at serving, and they definitely know where to serve and how to position it.
Again, 2 hands there. It's got a little bit of a push they called, so it's 3-0 Marysville.
Abby Sodden with another serve. She's really on a roll this season, and her serves have definitely improved. Ball in, just by the end line. Ace by Abby Sodden.
You talk about placement. That was perfect right on the back line. Saints took a chance. Looked like it might sail a little bit deep, but she had the number.
Ball is in by Abby Sodden. Hit by Brenda Johnson and received by Hannah Delore. Another outside hit and big block. Ball just shies out. Point, Saints.
4-1 Marysville. Early going. It's a good nice start for the Vikings.
Number 6 serves for the Saints, Juliana Catadolo. Ball is in and reserved by Tyler Beazhead.
Ooh. Might have been a little scouting. You know, Wednesday night, the Vikings did a lot of those little tips. Saints might have been onto that one. 4-2 now. Marysville still with the lead.
I think Brenda Johnson very well looked at the ball and see where the Vikings and saw their big block and was definitely ready for it.
Nice team recovery right there.
Free ball by the Saints. Recovery by Haley Delore. Free ball sent by the Saints and violation called. 2 hits.
They're calling a push on that, so the Vikings will take the extra point. 5-2 Marysville.
Haley Delore with the serve. Nice float serve by Haley, which comes into the libero. Nice call by Tyler Beazhead and just shies out of bounds.
Good job on the bench, too. They were all yelling out. They knew it was going deep, and that's that communication that you want to see.
We were talking about this the other night, too, how the team really helps out with the people in the back row by calling those in and out and can really save them some points. Serve is in by Haley Delore. Sam Miller with the tip, and great placement by Brenda Johnson. The Vikings lead 6-3. Libero switch, 13, comes in. Number 1 is serving for the Saints, Jessica Boehm. Nice serve received by 10, Hannah Delore.
Big hit that time by Delore.
But she seems to fall, and she's getting a slow recovery. Looks like she might have hurt her ankle. Point Vikings. But it looks like Hannah might be a little hurt out there.
Oh, she came down a little bit off balance there. She is hurting a little bit.
Well, we can wish her the best recovery.
Coaches will help her out there. Looks like Heather Bounds is ready to check into the game for the Vikings. Coach Valco is ready to come over. Add a little assistance. It's 7-3, Marysville with the lead.
And Paige Fraley with the serve. The Vikings lead 7-3 in the first set. Violation called, 2 hits by number 17. Paige Fraley on the serve. It's very nice to see how the Vikings can have front row players still play the back row and have all those fundamentals from both the front and the back row.
That ball just wouldn't quite fall on the other side. Ends up being a point for the Saints. 8-4 now, Marysville with the lead.
Libero switch with Tyler Bezad and Paige Fraley. And number 2 comes in for number 17 for the Saints. Nice set by Haley Delore.
Ooh, nice cross court that time by the Saints.
Eight to 5, Vikings leading. Brenna Johnson with the serve. Heather Bounds with the serve receive. Overall, that was a great play. That ball just went out, point for the Saints. I think Marysville has done very well this season on working on ball control so that they can get those setups for their hitters. And I think that's really making a big impact on their game.
Nice misdirection at the front that time. Before everybody got set up, that ball got switched over and kind of crossed up the Saints. 9-6, Marysville.
Alyssa Miller subs in for Abby Sawden.
Heather Bounds going to serve for the Vikings.
Very nice hit by number 13, Sam Fraley for the Saints. Sub comes in. Number 8 comes to serve to the line. Alyssa Cadallo for number 7.
A lot of overspin on that one. Nope.
Net violation by the setter, Haley Delore.
Nine to 8. You talked about being a good game. Saints are ready to play tonight.
And like we said on Wednesday night, their motivation is really taking them this game.
Another net violation against the Vikings that time.
By number 7, Christy Melton. And the Vikings take a timeout.
With that timeout, we're going to take a break ourselves, and we'll be back in just a moment after one of our sponsors.
The programs and community announcements presented on this station are brought to you in part by a grant from the following M6 Communication Arts Learning Partners.
The Marysville Rotary Club is founded on the principle of serving others through their personal, business, and community life, all with high ethical standards. Rotarians support projects both locally and across the globe. The club meets every Tuesday at 12:05 p.m. at Alexander's Premier Banquet Facility. Meetings provide opportunities to learn from guest speakers, plan club activities, and to foster fellowships. Marysville Rotary members, promoting service above self.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No?
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Welcome back to the Marysville Gymnasium for the MHSAA Class B District Finals game. The Marysville Vikings have 9, and the St. Clair Saints are also tied with 9 points.
That's a good first game right now. Alyssa.
Nice big hit by number 11, Alyssa Miller.
And to go, Alyssa. Great job. Got the Vikings a much-needed point. Get a little momentum back again.
Like we talked about on Wednesday night, our student section is very loud tonight and full again.
Yes, they are. Sam Miller on the serve. That's that front line block we've been looking for.
We've been seeing them a lot lately, and actually, that might be one of the most important parts to our Viking defense is that big block in the front row.
Sam with another serve.
The Vikings lead 11-9.
That was a little bit of the previous play. They knew the Vikings had a good block, and they wanted to go up and over top of it, but obviously going a little too deep.
And with the block, the hitters try to either hit over it or hit off the block, and I think that girl just tried to hit on top and just missed it by a little bit.
That time, number 2, Carrie Lozen found the middle of the Viking defense, and it's 12-10 now. Marysville still with the lead, but this is a tight battle.
Number 5, the libero with the serve. Good set by Haley Delore. Big Viking block. Point Vikings. The Vikings lead 13-10 in the first set. So with this loud audience and our student section being loud, what do you think it takes the Saints to keep their mind in this game and keep positive in the game?
You know, they have to concentrate and really communicate well, because the louder it gets, the more communication it takes on the floor. And that's where some veteran leadership comes into play, kids that have experienced that kind of atmosphere.
Tyler Bizad with the ace serve, continuing with another. And another great dig by Tyler Bizad. Hit by Brenda Johnson and recovered by Tyler. Tip by Alyssa Miller. Point called on the Saints side for 2 touches.
14-11, Marysville with the lead.
Number 17 subs in for number 2 on the Saints side.
Elena Cousino going to do the serving. Left-hander.
Nice tip by Haley Delore. And like you said the other night, she's really controlling the front row. And how do you think that makes an impact on this game by her making these smart tips and smart plays?
Well, she sets everybody up. It's not just going to one hitter all the time. Sometimes it even goes behind her, and the defense can't get used to where it's going to go. And then she throws that little tip in without having a setup, so that's even better, another weapon to have in her arsenal.
Abby Sawden subs in, has an ace serve, and is serving again. The Vikings are leading 16-11 in the first set. Brenna Johnson with the big swing. Saints point, leading them 16-12.
Well, as you said, the atmosphere, both teams have to rise to the challenge, and the Saints are right there.
The Saints definitely came out playing tonight, and they definitely want to win this game to take them to the next round.
And a lift again, and that's been consistently called by this officiating crew, so we'll see.
He's being really picky on their hands, which could be good for the Vikings because this is a learning experience on how their hands need to be perfect. But then again, it can really hurt them in games that he's calling them consistently on it.
Nice play. Nice play.
Number 12, Haley Delore with the serve.
17-13. Hannah Delore just came back from the locker room, and she's limping a little bit, but hopefully she'll be able to get back into action pretty quick.
Nice hit in back row by number 6, Julianne Costado. Substitute comes in for the libero, number 13, Sam Fraley.
Big jump serve and all the way out.
Point Vikings leading them 18-14 in the first set. Our libero change on both sides. And serve by Fraley. Free ball to the Vikings, recovered by Sam Miller.
Oh, in that deep corner, nice placement.
Very nice ball by Haley Delore.
19-14.
Paige is getting on a little bit of a roll here. What do you think that means for the Vikings?
I've been told volleyball more than just about any other sport's a game of momentum. And that was Coach Knuth that told me that. And he's won a few games in his time, so.
Put a few banners up on the wall, too.
Absolutely. He talked about that. Once the team gets on a roll, you got to break that, keep that to a minimum. And if it's your team, keep it going as long as possible. So Vikings are doing a nice job of that right now.
The Vikings are leading 20-14 in the first set.
That was another example of Haley moving the ball around from left to right.
We also see a big star on the other team, Brenna Johnson. She's really bringing energy to this game. challenging the Vikings in their back row and their front row. Timeout by the Saints with the score 21-14. Please join us after the break as we thank one of our M6 sponsors.
The programs and community announcements presented on this station are brought to you in part by a grant from the following M6 Communication Arts Learning Partners.
The Marysville Lions Club has been serving the Marysville community since 1941. Programs for the visually challenged, school projects for our youth, and community enhancement projects are just a few of the activities Lions members experience. Organizations and projects that are supported by the Marysville Lions Club include Leader Dogs for the Blind in Rochester, Michigan, scholarships to local graduates, United States Constitution books to elementary students, the Marysville Library, Little League, City of Marysville enhancement projects, and many more. To become more involved in Lions activities, check out the Lions at www.marysvillelions.org.
Welcome back to the Marysville Gymnasium as the Vikings lead 21-14 in the first set.
It's been a good start for our Vikings.
It's been a very good start for the Saints, too. They both have played very competitive and very smart and very strong. Both teams are doing very great. Hit just goes out by number 4, Brenna Johnson, point Vikings. Paige Fraley with another serve.
Brenna Johnson is a pretty tough player for the Saints. She's aggressive and she can put the ball down.
Like we were talking about before the break, she really plays smart in the game and she sees where the block is and sees how they're doing. Point Vikings with a 2 call. Paige Fraley with another serve, leading the Vikings 23-14 in the first set. Like we talked about earlier, Brenna just got that hit up. It's great to see these players playing front row, getting a ball in the back, and then coming up and getting these big kills.
That is a lot of athleticism right there.
Point Saints. The score 23-15. Brenna Johnson serve. Big hit by Sam Miller. Point 24-15. Possible game point for the Vikings. Number 11, Alyssa Miller, comes in for number 9, Abby Sawden. Heather Bounds with the serve. Point Vikings, and that leads it to the set. 25-15, Vikings win.
All right, the Vikings take game 1. We'll be back with game number 2 in just a moment after these messages.
We've all seen stories of conflict that ended with peace. We've seen stories of hunger end in abundance. We see stories of fear, despair, and poverty, but they can end with courage, hope, and love. With you. Be a part of writing a story that's greater than poverty. Learn how at worldvision.org.
The Class B district finals are well underway. The Vikings winning the first set and the Saints and Vikings coming out strong in the second. What do you think it's going to take for the Saints to win the second set?
Well, first of all, they had a couple of technical errors with some pushes, and the officials are really watching that closely tonight, so I'm sure their coaches are going to talk about that. Once they get over that hurdle, that was a pretty even match for the most part, so it was a good victory for the Vikings.
I definitely agree with you with the errors. The unforced errors were a very big thing for the Saints, but also for the Vikings, because the Vikings were being smart, but also watching the tips.
And we had a couple of net violations ourselves, so maybe that's just a little bit of nerves. Championship game, everybody's excited and wants to get off to a good start.
I definitely agree with you. Looks like the same lineups from the first game, but Abby Sodding is in for the Vikings.
Coach Bush and Coach Kaufman have done a nice job all season long. Got the girls peaking at the right time of the year. Not to look ahead too far, but the regionals next week, that is a pretty packed regional. Notre Dame Prep, maybe a Country Day in there, and of course North Branch. There's some top 10 rated teams just in that division alone, so there'll be some good volleyball if people want to head up to North Branch.
Abby Sodding with the first serve of the game. Very nice hit by Haley Delore. And like we said earlier, she's controlling the game from the front row, and I think that's a very big aspect for her. And it's good that she can place that ball, and she knows where to place it. She knows where those spots are to hit.
That's great experience on her part. She's got a feel for the game. She knows where the openings are.
The Vikings lead 1-0 in the first game.
We'll make it 2-0. That's great. Even though, the Marysville wins the first game, you got to take it as a whole fresh ball game again. So it's good for the Vikings to get a couple points under their belt.
And like you said, they need to clear their mindset because they cannot be expecting to win this game. They need to put the whole effort in like they did the first game and come out as a new game.
Absolutely. Great point.
Good push from number 4, Brenna Johnson. Free ball from the Saints and recovered by Sam Miller.
Great job by Delore taking that ball all the way across court.
Nice recover by number 5, Sam Miller.
This is one of the best volleys of the night.
Yes, it is. You can see the big block by the Vikings, and that the Saints, they came out a little bit more prepared this first game by getting those deep balls like in the first game that they missed. So
Absolutely.
Their coach probably was telling them about what they
sometimes just got to settle them all down and get them back to playing their game.
The Vikings are leading 3-0. Abby Sodding still with the serve.
Mia Johnson checked in for the Saints while we were talking.
The pass goes a little bit long for a Viking point. The Vikings lead 4-0 in the second set. Ball is in by Abby Sodding and set by Brenda Johnson.
Oh! Had a good block at the net, but didn't quite seal it enough. The ball just leaked on their side of the net.
Very good block by our front row. They have their positioning right and everything. They just need to push it a little bit over. The Vikings are leading 4-1. Nice push by Heather Bounds. Nice up by Tyler Bezan. And back row hit. Very nice communication by the Vikings, and I think that that's going to be a very big aspect from this game, like we said earlier, because it's so loud in here, and the Vikings need that momentum.
I'm really impressed the way both teams, but especially the Vikings, are covering the entire floor. They're rotating around. When one group goes up, somebody else slides in around behind. Doing a nice job.
Haley Delore with the serve. 5-1, the Vikings ahead.
Dig that time, but not good enough. Nice job by the Saints. Give them credit. They found that hole right in the middle of the Viking defense.
The Vikings are leading 5-2, but the sub, number 8, comes in for number 3. Abby Sodding with a nice serve receive, but ball just shies out on the other side of the net. Saints point. Very nice crowd come out tonight for both games, actually, for both sides, St. Clair and the Vikings. It's good to see the community supporting the girls and having all the support for all the momentum we need tonight to win this game. Good block by the Marysville Vikings, but up ref says no touch. The Vikings point and Paige Fraley back to serve.
Looks like our student section, what was their theme tonight? A little beach theme? A little
Yes.
summer beach theme going?
Yep, the theme tonight was beach.
All right.
They definitely filled the role.
I love their imagination.
The Vikings lead 7-3 now. Big block by the Marysville Vikings. Like we said earlier, that block is really a big asset of the game, and it's getting them so many points. Good serve by Paige Fraley.
Good hustle
nice
in the
up.
back.
Very nice up by Abby Sodden and set out to Heather Bounds.
All right. Good communication. That bench came in handy there again, too. Great court awareness by the Vikings.
And I think that's what both Coach Bush and Coach Jakubiak both are,
really stress.
yeah, they very stressed that at practice, that the team not only participate in the game, but they participate on the bench, and that really saves them.
That was a good call by the officials. It looked like it was deep, but the Vikings got a finger on that one, and the officials all talked together, and they got the call right. 8-4, Marysville still with the lead. Game number 2.
Coach Bush and Coach Kaufman, my bad. Very nice try by the Vikings defense, but point shies to the St. Clair Saints. The Vikings are leading 8-5 in the second set.
This is the battle. Both teams are well prepared. They're excited, coming together.
Nice up by Tyler Bizet, the libero. And very nice set.
Very quick push across the net before the Saints could get set up.
Number 11, Alyssa Miller, comes in for number 9, Abby Sodden. The Vikings lead 9-5. Heather Bounds with the serve.
Just a little deep.
Number 17 subs in for number 2 on the Saints side.
It's Alina Cousino. She's going to do some serving right now. 9-6, Marysville.
Let's talk about the last game. So we said how we think the Saints could come into this game and win this one, but what do we think the Vikings need to pick up on? They played very well that game, but what do we think they need to do to extend their lead this game and get the win?
I think one thing, keep that momentum, keep that concentration level. You had mentioned there's a tendency, okay, we got the first win, maybe relax just a little bit, but now as they get into the second game, that concentration level's coming back. And the Saints, they're a very formidable opponent.
Outside the antenna by number 7, Christy Melton. Saints point with the Vikings leading 10-7.
Mia Jensen comes back in for the Saints.
Very nice set by Haley Delore to Christy Melton. Free ball to the Vikings, picked up by Tyler Bizet. Nice touch on the ball, and they use the block to get that ball right out of the libero's reach. Point Vikings leading them 11-7 in the second set. Tyler Bizet with the serve.
Paige Fraley checks back in.
Very nice tip by number 12, Haley Delore. And like we said earlier, her core awareness is very strong in this game, and she's given the Vikings probably 6 points a game by her tipping and being smart on the court.
And that change of pace, it always keeps the defenders guessing because they go up for a big block. They're not sure what they're going to face.
Very big block by the Vikings, giving them a point. And the Saints take a timeout. we'd like to thank one of our sponsors from the M6 program.
The programs and community announcements presented on this station are brought to you in part by a grant from the following M6 Communication Arts Learning Partners. O'Connor Realty, located at 2801 Gratiot Boulevard in Marysville, is ready to help you. Whether buying or selling, you'll want to meet with an O'Connor Realty agent. With the housing market continually fluctuating, having an O'Connor Realtor on your side is important. Call 364-8700 to make an appointment today. O'Connor Realty, small enough to know you, large enough to serve you.
Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 58 years old.
For me, it was heart-wrenching.
It takes a toll on everyone. I mean, it's a depressing disease to watch unfold before your eyes.
You just don't see the person's soul is like gone.
This disease just ravages a family.
It changes your life.
The magnitude of it is indescribable.
Now is the moment. If we work together, we can stop this epidemic.
Contact Bright Focus and learn more.
Welcome back to the Marysville Gymnasium for the MHSAA District Finals. The Marysville Vikings are leading 13-7 in set 2 against the St. Clair Saints.
Game number 1, the Vikings won 25-13.
Brenna Johnson with the big hit, just shies out. Vikings point. Number 2, Tyler Bizet with the serve.
She's had a very nice game tonight.
Yes, she has. One unforced error by the back row. I think that the back row is they're limiting their forced errors, and they're not making as many as we saw on Wednesday night, and I think that's a very, very big aspect for them in this game.
I agree.
The Vikings leading 14-8. Little miscommunication on the court, giving the Saints a point, making it 14-9 in the second set. I think that their coaching staff, too, along with Coach Bush and Coach Kaufman, I think it really helps the team having 2 assistant coaches and having the JV coach and the freshman coach to help them out at practices.
Lots of sets of eyes, making sure everybody does it right.
Big block by the Saints, making a Saint point. The Vikings lead 14-10.
We did an interview the other day with Coach Bush, and she talked about every time there's a point, it's because there's a mistake made on one side or the other.
Just like now, how the Saints made a net violation, Viking point, and number 9, Abby Sawden, comes in for Alyssa Miller. Abby with the serve. The Vikings again taking a big lead in this, not a big lead, but taking a lead in this set. But how do you think the Saints could come back in this game, and how do you think they may come back in this game?
It's difficult when you're playing from behind all the time because every point seems to be even more important. So for the Saints, they need to get this thing rolling a little bit, maybe get it tied up, get a little lead of their own if they're going to make a run. Every time you're falling behind, it takes a little bit more energy, both mentally and physically.
Tristan Angling comes in for number 4, Brenna Johnson. Big block by the Viking defense.
That was one of the best blocks of the night.
Ball recovered by Sam Miller. What we heard during the timeout and the break, we heard Coach talk about getting the right form. How do you think she plans that will make a big effect on the game?
Well, sometimes she talked about practice, practice, practice. So during a game, you're not going to make major adjustments, but you want to kind of refocus all the players back to the fundamentals. Key on the things that they do well.
Number 2 comes back into the game, Carrie Losman. For number 17, Elena Kuzno. And number 4, Brenna Johnson, returns into the game for number 34, Tristan Angling.
Sam Fraley that time just read that little tip move that Haley likes to do and kind of put it right back at her. Now the Vikings said, okay, then we're going to go to the power game.
The Vikings are very good on hitting, and they know when to send that ball over. If it's Haley making a smart play as the setter, or even our hitters crushing it to the ground. They always know when to hit the ball in the perfect spot where to hit it. The Vikings lead this set 17-12 with Haley Delore serving.
Again, that block up at the front line. Whoa, good hustle that time.
Viking point, leading the Vikings 18-12 in the second set. Haley Delore on the serve. What the Marysville program really focuses on is fundamentals, and like Coach Bush was saying after the break, fundamentals is a big key to this game. And it's really coming in for the Vikings and coming in strong for them right now because they're in good positioning, they have good hitting form, good blocking form, and it's really saving them the game.
They also have good spacing on the floor. Sometimes you see a team that gets a little bit rattled and 4, 5, 6 players all going to one spot and then the rest of the court's left open. Vikings are manning their own area of the floor, doing a nice job of rotating and covering all angles.
Number 12, Haley Delore with the serve. And talking about Haley, I think the Saints are very well covering the floor too, but Haley being such a good player can find those spots, and she's so smart in this game that she can find those backs, corner pushes like we've seen this game. Big block by the Saints, but there might have been a net violation in that ball, so Viking point, and another serve for number 12, Haley Delore. The Vikings leave 20-12 in the second set. Net serve by number 12, Haley Delore.
As you get down to this time of the season too, you want to try to put teams away. You want to conserve your energy. I know it's next week before they play again, but you know, the more you can take care of business and get rested up is a good thing.
The up ref saw the ball go down on that ball by Abby Sawden, and Saints with the point. The score 20-14, Vikings lead. Very nice slide hit by the outside hitter, number 6. Ball just flies out by number 4, Brenna Johnson, giving the Vikings a 21-14 lead.
You can tell both teams are getting much more comfortable with the game too. The volleys are going longer. The play is better play right now, so that's important.
Senior Mercedes Thomas comes in for number 4, Paige Fraley.
Good opportunity for Mercedes to get into the ball game, make a positive impact.
This year I've seen all these seniors work very hard at these positions, and I think at Marysville they keep the competition very high for your position and make you play at your best at all times, and there's no staying back, and I think that's what coaches have very much pushed this season, and that's why the Vikings are playing at the top of their game.
And that's the key to any successful program. You don't appoint somebody and say, here, you're the starter for the year. You got to earn it every day, every game. So.
Timeout for the Saints, and we are going to thank a sponsor for the M6 program.
The programs and community announcements presented on this station are brought to you in part by a grant from the following M6 Communication Arts Learning Partners. The Marysville Knights of Columbus, Council 9526, and their auxiliary members provide service to many in our community. As the world's largest Catholic family fraternal service organization, our Marysville Knights join 1.6 million other members to provide volunteer opportunities to serve. The McGivney Banquet Center is home to the Marysville Knights of Columbus. This facility is a perfect location for any occasion. With their friendly and knowledgeable staff, both small and large halls are available for rental. You'll be sure to find what you need calling 364-6800 to make your reservation.
Oops. Uh-oh.
Get on top of it before they do. Every 24 minutes, tipped furniture or a falling TV sends an injured child to the emergency room. Preventing tip-over incidents is easy, inexpensive, and only takes 5 minutes. Learn how to secure your furniture and TVs to protect children at anchorit.gov.
Welcome back to the Marysville Gymnasium as the Vikings lead 22-14 in the second set, and Mercedes Thomas Sr. has the serve. How hard was it for the Saints to make the transition to playing Armada on Wednesday night to playing the Vikings tonight?
It's important to have a good scouting report. You have to know the strengths and weaknesses of every team. And you had talked about it earlier. You have to have a short memory. Once you get done with that game, you start looking forward to the next team, figuring out what they can do and what they don't do as well, and see how you can attack that.
Big block by the Marysville Vikings, making them a point. 23-14 in the second set. Nice save by Brenna Johnson, number 4.
Ooh, nice recovery by the Saints. Another recovery, but this one's point to Marysville.
But then again, we have Haley Delore in the front row that's controlling, I think, the front part of their side and our side.
That's what a good setter will do for you. That's great. She's having a nice night tonight.
Mercedes Thomas with another serve.
Can't quite put it away there. 24-15.
Possible game point for the Marysville Vikings as Paige Fraley comes in for Mercedes Thomas in the libero switch with Tyler Bezab. Ball is down by the Marysville Vikings, and it's hit by Christy Melton. Vikings take set 2, and we will take a break right after this.
Something's not right.
My first symptoms were
constant tingling in my toes.
Double vision. They said you have multiple sclerosis.
Kind of had to get a grasp on reality.
I had to adapt and change very rapidly.
I had to learn how to drive with my hands. Yeah, that was interesting.
A symptom may cause you not to be able to do that anymore. And at one point, I wasn't able to do any of those.
Since I've been cycling, it's definitely helped my walking.
It's a fantastic opportunity to be working together with a common goal of curing MS, and sharing is the key.
District finals are here at Marysville Gymnasium, and the Vikings taking the lead 2-0 to the St. Clair Saints.
Good opportunity for us to recognize the Viking roster again. Tyler Bezad, she's a junior. Number 2, Heather Bounds. Number 3, also a junior. Number 4, Paige Fraley, senior, playing probably her last game at Marysville High School. Good for her. Sam Miller, number 5, also a senior. Olivia May, junior, number 6. Number 7, Christy Melton, senior. Number 8, Mercedes Thomas, a senior as well. Number 9, Abby Sodden is a junior. Hannah Delore is the senior, number 10. Alyssa Miller, sophomore, number 11. And Haley Delore, 12, is a senior. Sophomore, Riley Frenchick is number 13. Natalie Husson is a freshman on the team. And our last one is Mariah Burns, sophomore, number 15. Anna Fair also is a senior, number 1. So we've got a really nice group of seniors playing their last game at Marysville High School. And this will be fun to hopefully close out on a winning note right here. 2-0. Let's get the third one and move on.
I think that this is going to be a great growing opportunity for all the juniors, sophomores, and even the freshmen that are coming up to this varsity program, because there's going to be 7 spots next year for younger kids coming up.
Open competition. We talked about it before.
Saints with the first serve and Viking return. Net violation by number 12, Haley Delore. The Saints take the early lead, 1-0.
Well, the first leads they've had all night. Now the Vikings have to respond.
I think the Vikings respond really well to the Saints having an early lead, because last game they had a very early lead, but then the Vikings came back and had that energy and just took it right away.
Good concentration level right there by the Vikings. Again, Haley tips it into that back corner.
The Vikings and the Saints tied 1-1. Abby Sodden with the serve.
Nice job by Bizad putting it up in the front line where the Vikings could handle it. It just went a little deep.
And Paige has very high hop on the ball, and she had a very good approach on it, just shied just a little bit out for her. The Saints take a lead, 2-1 in the third game.
Good recovery by the Saints on that tip move. But the Vikings turn around and make their adjustment as well. 2-2.
Number 3 returns for the Saints, and also number 4, Brenna Johnson. Haley Delore with the serve. The score 2-2 in the third set.
Good job to regroup by the Vikings.
Very nice regroup by the Saints, and really finding that great hit that they knew will go down and even touch the ground for the point.
Brenna Johnson is playing a whale of a game for the Saints. She's a tough competitor, and she gets up there, can put the ball down on the floor as well.
Also, that we were talking about athleticism earlier. Brenda is the setter and is the outside hitter, so she's really playing a dual part in the front row and is really helping the Saints team tonight.
Great dig that time. Oh.
Very nice spot by number 4, Brenna Johnson.
4-2, St. Clair Saints with the lead. Early in the game, Hannah Delore went down with an injury, and a lot of people have recovered, coming together to try to fill in that big role that Hannah has on the team.
I think the Vikings are very good at that, with stepping up to play positions that they play in practice, and they practice every day hard at just for circumstances like this. Saints coming out strong in the third game with a lot of good hits and tips in the game.
6-2, the Saints are fired up. Game number 3.
Number 1, Jessica Bohm with the serve. Serve flies out by number 3, Heather Bounds. I think this game and the past 2 games, the Vikings have been very controlled on their passes, and you can see from Tyler and Abby and Haley in the back row that they have their platform out and ready for them to hit the ball right to their setter. Timeout taken by the Vikings, and we'll be back right after the break.
The programs and community announcements presented on this station are brought to you in part by a grant from the following M6 Communication Arts Learning Partners.
Looking for some exciting, inviting sportswear, personalizing some apparel, or possibly promoting your business or organization? Stop in at TP Logos and meet Todd Powers and his talented graphic designers, passionate artists, business developers, screen printers, and marketers. With close to 20 years of experience, there aren't many areas of creative services they have not explored. Apparel, spirit items, and more. Located across from the stadium at 1100 Michigan Avenue, Suite B, or call 810-956-9484. You can also go online to TP Logos and see all of their great gear.
You may be eligible for a credit on your electric bill if you experience lengthy or frequent service outages. To request the $25 credit, contact your electricity provider. For more information about the credit and tips for surviving power outages, call the Michigan Public Service Commission at 1-800-292-9555 or visit their website at michigan.gov/MPSC and click on Consumer Information. A public service message from the Michigan Public Service Commission.
Welcome back to the district final game against the Saints and the Marysville Vikings.
Well, after that timeout, Vikings respond with a point. That's an important one. It's an 8-3 now. Christy Melton checks back in for the Vikings front line.
Paige Fraley with the serve. The Vikings trail 3-8. Nice big block by the Vikings front row.
Sam Miller, nice big set.
I think what the Vikings need to improve on in this game is really their communication's good, but they're running into each other, and I think their communication in this loud environment just needs to be a little bit stronger, and the Vikings will get right back on track. Nice push out by number 12, Haley DeLore. A big block by the St. Clair Saints.
Yeah, a little bit of that, like I say, with Hannah being out, she's used to playing the front line and the experience that comes with her game. So this has been a nice test for us.
Brenna Johnson with the serve. St. Clair Saints 9, the Vikings 3.
Good hustle by the Vikings.
Nice tip over by the Saints, but recovered by the Vikings. Number 12, Haley DeLore with the smart push.
She's been doing that all night long. That's an awesome move for her.
She's been playing strong in the front row and the back row to make up for her sister on the bench, and I think the Vikings are playing very strong, even though they're down by one player that she plays.
You talked about how much she controls the floor, how she sees the floor. She knew what she wanted to do on that play. Just get it over the front line, find that little hole, so good for her.
The Vikings trailed the Saints 4-9 in the third set. The Viking free ball recovered by Tyler Bezan. Nice big block. Ooh, player down again. Net violation called by Christy Melton, and point goes to the Saints.
The Vikings said that they were stepped on underneath the net, I believe, and that's all right. That's part of the game. 10-4, Saints. Vikings got to work out of this hole. There you go. Alyssa Miller comes in off the bench and adds a big point right away. Good for her.
Like we were talking about earlier, the bench being involved with the game. I think that Alyssa being on the bench and jumping up every time is getting her leg muscles all ready for this game.
That keeps the enthusiasm, adrenaline pumping, that's true.
Big block by the Marysville Vikings. The Marysville Vikings trail 6-10 in the third set.
Delore and Melton that time. Nice combination on the block.
Sam Miller with the serve.
This would be a nice time for Sam to run off a few points. But it's not going to happen.
Ball shies off the arms of Heather Bounds, and the Saints point. Number 1 returns back into the game for the Saints, Jessica Bohm. Number 13, Sam Fraley with the serve. Very nice tip by number 12, Haley DeLore for the Vikings.
Earlier in the evening, the Saints were not adjusting quite as quickly. Now they're getting a hand on some of those. It makes a big difference.
And I think that the Saints, with their game, they're hitting a few more balls outside, causing those unforced errors, which is getting the Vikings a little bit of that momentum lead back. With the kill by Alyssa Miller.
Alyssa starting to step up in this third game, and what a time to do it for the Vikings.
Especially with Hannah being out of this game, Alyssa is playing extra, to make up for Hannah, and it's very well working out for her.
That's what a team's all about. Everybody stepping up for each other. Vikings cut the lead to 3. Now it's back up to 4. 12-8. St. Clair with the lead.
We have to give the Saints credit, though, because they're covering this floor and they're hitting fantastic hits, and the Vikings are just making those awesome saves, and they're playing the Saints and the Vikings are both playing very smart.
There's something about elimination play. It doesn't matter what the sport is. When you know you lose, you're packing up your gear, you're putting it away on the shelf for next year. So you dig in a little bit deeper. You're not ready to take those tennis shoes off.
And I think that's the really driving point for players that are excelling in this game, like Alyssa Miller and Haley Delores. They don't want to put their shoes away, and they want to excel in this game. Substitutions on both sides. 17 comes in for 2 on the Saints, and Abby Sawden comes in for Alyssa Miller on the Vikings. The Vikings are down 9-13, and the Saints are winning.
A lift that time. Vikings take the point. We've talked a lot about the seniors on the Viking. But tonight you're seeing a lot of the younger kids, the juniors, the sophomores, starting to step up and earn their stripes, so to speak. By this time of the season, you're not a rookie anymore. You've played a full season and you're ready to contribute. Good for the Vikings.
And I think the Vikings are looking at that next season, they're not going to have these 7 seniors. And these girls that are stepping up now may be the starting for next year. So they're showing coach how they play and how they can win next year.
14-10, Saints with the lead.
Very nice single block by Paige Fraley. Paige did very well on that ball by going up by herself and not being ready to have that 2-person block and following with her hands, and just an overall great play by Paige.
Well, we've cut this lead to 3 a couple of times. Now we got to break it down a little bit more.
Number 12, Haley Delore with the serve. Big Viking block by Sam Miller and Paige Fraley. I think that's what the Vikings have needed all along this game, is getting up there and blocking Brenna Johnson and getting those balls right back down.
Earlier in the game, they were getting at a really good block front wall, and then this game, not quite as much, but now it's coming back.
Collision by the Saints, and ball flies out. Another point for the Marysville Vikings, making it a 1-point lead by the Saints. Haley Delore with another service run. Another big block by the Marysville Vikings, and tipped right over by Brenna Johnson. The Librero switch, and number 1, Jessica Bohm with the serve.
Vikings cut it to 1, but couldn't get it tied up. Now they're down 2.
Very nice up by number 12, Haley Delore, and sending it over by Tyler Bezan, but just shies a little bit out. The Saints take the lead by 3 points again, leading 16-13. Very nice jump serve by Jessica Bone. Unforced error by number 4, Paige Fraley. And the Vikings take a timeout. We'd like to thank one of our M6 sponsors.
The programs and community announcements presented on this station are brought to you in part by a grant from the following M6 Communication Arts Learning Partners.
The Marysville American Legion, J. Edward Mallory, post number 449, is located at 299 Huron Boulevard in Marysville. Hall rentals are available for any occasion, and bingo is played every Tuesday evening. Legion members, auxiliary members, Sons of the Legion, and Legion Riders continue to serve our active military personnel, veterans, and their families in our community and across our nation. So be sure to stop by and think of Veteran Today.
There are lots of unmet needs out here, and while I can't change everything, I can change some things. So I stepped up and became an American Legion Auxiliary Volunteer. For nearly 100 years, they've been helping our veterans, military, and their families here and abroad. Military deployment can be tough on a family, so we do what we can to help. And every injured and homeless veteran deserves the compassion we can give them.
Well, we're here to help.
Plus, we also have programs to teach our youth how to be good citizens. and young women how to be leaders at ALA Girls State.
America.
I wanted to give back like the other 800,000 American Legion Auxiliary volunteers. There's history here. Patriotism, pride, open arms. It doesn't take much time to make a difference. Will you join me and please step up to help our country's heroes and their families? Call the number to volunteer today.
Welcome back to the Marysville Gymnasium for the MHSAA Class B District Finals game against the St. Clair Saints and the Marysville Vikings. The Vikings are winning sets 2-0, but the Saints are winning this set 17-13. Nice call by setter, number 12, Haley Delore.
After the last time out, the Vikings made a little bit of progress, and coach is hoping to have the same effect. So that was a good start for him. Cut that lead down to 3 now.
We've seen these patterns with the Vikings that after a timeout, the coaches get them up and we get on a few-point lead, and hopefully that continues this set.
Oh, my.
Nice reading by the front row on the Saints side.
Big block opportunity. There you go.
Big block on number 4, Brenda Johnson. And tip over by Heather Bounds, causing a Viking point. The Vikings trail 15-17 in the third game.
Got to get that communication going again. Make sure everybody's got the floor spaced out. Coming out of the timeout, 3 straight points. Cut this 4-point lead down to 1. Now you got to finish it off and regain the lead. Get that momentum back.
The Vikings trail the Saints by 1 point, causing it 16-17, the Saints. Nice hit by number 4, Brenna Johnson. And very nice push by number 12, Haley Delore. But the Saints getting the ball up.
Ooh, baby. And that set gets a little too close to the net. Saints have some big hitters on their side, and they took advantage of it.
Number 2 returning back in for the Saints for number 17, Brenna Johnson with the serve. And like we talked about on Wednesday night, we talked about both teams moving their feet. In this game, I'm thinking that's a very big factor and that both teams need to accomplish that.
Yes, they do.
Because of big tips like that by Christy and big hits by Brenda, and they just need to, they're moving their feet very well this game and saving a lot of points.
Alyssa Miller checks back in for Abby Sodden. Work that front line. She had a good rotation last time, and see if she can get going again.
The Vikings bring it back with, now the point is 17-19 with the Saints leading. Number 8 comes back into the Saints, and so does number 37, Allie Foucher.
Oh, no. We got away with one that time. The Saints ball got over to their side of the net.
Like we were talking about the other night, the seniors are really bringing the energy to the court, and all the girls have a nice personality, and it really shows throughout the school and throughout the day. And I can also say the same for the Saints. This is like our little cross-down showdown, and we're in it to win it, and both teams are playing their best that they can.
And that is a tie ball game. The Vikings have weathered the storm. Now they got to bring it home. And you had mentioned the Vikings and the Saints. It doesn't matter what the sport is, what the activity is. There's a great rivalry. Both schools respect each other, but like you say, they're both in it to win it.
The Vikings and the Saints tied at 19 in the third game. Very nice push by number 12, Haley Delore. Two contact call on the Saints. Viking point taking the lead, 20-19. We really see the energy starting to rise up on the Viking side and even in the student section, and I think that's really getting the motivation and everything up on the Viking side and making this a close game.
This is going to be a tough one.
Another Viking sub. Allie Foucher comes out for number 6. Saints Librero, number 5, with the serve. Nice tip set by number 12, Haley Delore. Nice up by Sam Miller. Great play all around by the Vikings. Very nice up by Brenna Johnson. And great Viking block in the front row. Our Vikings have been playing very well this game in their big blocks against the Saints. Well, that's going to take us into a break, and we'll be back right after this.
I see my friends out there getting waves. It's like, it's hard. It was a surprise to me when they told me I had MS. It's like, you sure?
Well, this is a virtual reality rig, and this is going to allow Steve to see and experience the waves that I ride.
Put that on your head. Whoa.
Welcome back to the Marysville Gymnasium as the district finals are well in play. The Vikings are ahead 2-0 in sets, and the Vikings are ahead in the third game 21-20. Tyler Bezad with the serve.
This has been a barn burner, Nicole.
It's definitely been a game where it's back and forth throughout the game.
That was an interesting miscalculation there, I'll say. That happens.
Saints with the point, tying up the game 21-21. Very nice hit by number 11, Alyssa Miller. This is where, in play, when it comes up and where she's stepping up in her role as only a sophomore on the team and really bringing it in play.
You start to see those younger players. It's now tournament time. They've had a full year, and they are experienced, and that was a great play. Alyssa's had an excellent third game.
Abby Sodden comes in for Alyssa Miller. Very nice Viking ball and Viking placement.
23-21, Marysville with the lead. They're trying to close it out. They don't want to go to another game.
You can see the Vikings trying to take that momentum and pull away from the Saints. Abby Sodden with another serve. Viking point. The score 24-21, Vikings lead. Possible game point for the Marysville Vikings.
Game and match.
Yes. What do you think is going through both coaches' heads right now for the Vikings?
Well, try to keep everybody calm, keep them doing everything that they've done doing, and there it is.
There's the district final game. The Marysville Vikings win 25-11 over the St. Clair Saints.
Great win by the Vikings. Can't beat that. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a lot of fun to watch. Got to give a lot of respect to the Saints. Vikings won 3 games to none, but not one of those were easy victories. We're going to see a trophy presentation in just a moment. That was a great game by both teams. Vikings are taking a quick break, but let's see if they're going to come back and get the trophy.
Please join us back in a few minutes as we see the trophy ceremony.
Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 58 years old.
For me, it was heart-wrenching.
It takes a toll on everyone. I mean, it's a depressing disease to watch unfold before your eyes.
You just don't see the person's soul is like gone.
This disease just ravages a family.
It changes your life.
The magnitude of it is indescribable.
Now is the moment. If we work together, we can stop this epidemic.
Contact Bright Focus and learn more.
Welcome back. As the district game had just got over, the Vikings beat the St. Clair Saints 3-0 in sets. What do you think was the biggest thing that the Vikings did during the games?
I thought there was two things. One, blocking at the net. I thought that made a big difference, but also Haley Delore setting up the Vikings offense. And this is the trophy presentation. They do a medal for each of the athletes. District champions. Nice respect. Sportsmanship.
I think the Saints have a great sportsmanship on our team, but also the Vikings. Both teams have really came out tonight to play and had that very strong sportsmanship.
And you know, through AAU play, these girls know each other very well. They play all summer, sometimes on the same team. Other times they cross paths in different tournaments. So congratulations to the Marysville Vikings. They're going to head to North Branch on Tuesday night and take on the winner of the Notre Dame Prep District, which Notre Dame Prep is the heavy favorite in that district. Coach Mr. Tom Belko, our athletic director, is presenting the medals to the Vikings, and then they will do the trophy presentation.
And Randy Kaufman.
The coaches and the captains are coming out to accept the trophy. Congratulations to the Vikings. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed the game tonight. We'll catch you next season. I guess it'll be basketball season, and be sure to stay tuned on M6 for more Viking action. Good night.
Thank you.